Uh-oh, we are back on our witch trial shit this week. Yeah, this guy is going to be Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General. Now, please do not let this jaunty little hat that he's wearing fool you, because this man right here was one of the original grind set bros. Except instead of some sort of crypto scheme, well, this man was just killing a bunch of people. In the most fucked up lads holiday ever, this guy basically got together with a bunch of his boys, faked some government credentials, gave himself the title of Witchfinder General, and would go around to regional communities saying that he had detected witches and then asking a fee to find them and eradicate them. The play here is that Matthew and his team would roll into town and identify someone as a witch. I know that it will not at all surprise you to learn that usually they would start with someone old, homeless, without a husband who could not defend themselves. He would then employ his team of women. That's right, he used a bunch of women to do his dirty work, and that's equality. And basically these women would strip the victim naked and search their whole body for the mark of the devil. And this could have been anything, a birthmark, a mole, a blemish, a really big freckle. But once they found it, well, that was your time up. Now, technically, at this point in the 17th century, torture was illegal in England. Hopkins and his team were really good at coming up with stuff that legally was not classified as torture. Things like sleep deprivation or forgetting to feed the people they had in prison. One of the most inventive things that Hopkins comes up with is a retractable needle that looks like you're pricking someone with it, but the needle itself actually disappears back up into the handle. And this was very useful because one of the main methods of identifying a witch in this time was to cut her or stick her with a pin, and if she didn't bleed, there's your witch. Hopkins' favorite method of extracting a confession, however, was the swimming test. Now, this is where they would tie your hands to your feet and chuck you into the river out the back. And sometimes they would tie you to a chair and throw you in. If you drowned, you were innocent, but you would go to heaven. And if you floated, well, then happy days, you were found guilty as a witch and you were hanged. Now, something very key here is you will notice that often there is someone either with a pole who can push you further under the water if you're not confessing, or a rope who can pull you to the top of the water if it looks like you're going to sink and the boys aren't going to get their payday for finding a witch. Now, I know you'll be happy to find out that eventually it does kind of catch up with Matthew Hopkins. He basically goes to one town too many, and everybody is kind of like, wait a minute. Unfortunately, in the meantime, he had managed to have hundreds of people executed. In fact, more than the previous 160 years of witch trials combined. And in true podcast bro fashion, this guy does all this crazy, heinous shit, and he just gets away with it.